Thanks all for joining the support group conversation. My name is Lee Matos, Senior Support Engineering Manager Interim, nut fanatic, and very excited to field your questions. So if you have anything that you would like to talk about, do raise it, post it in the Google Doc, and voice it, and we'll talk about it. Greg has shared the doc in the chat. So if you would like to, feel free. I don't see any questions there yet, so I will ramble for 10 seconds to give you a second to fill it in, but that's kind of breaking the rules of this format. So what I will say is we have a lot of data and a lot of metrics, so do peruse at your leisure through that. 2, we have a large group of managers, so we've tried to build an avenue for them to share what they've been working on, and we're hoping that that helps. But if it doesn't, let us know. We would love that feedback. So take a look at that there. So excited about that. But otherwise, that's what I got. Peruse, ask questions.
Hey Lee, I'm gonna ask and type my question at the same time. Awesome to see all the statistics and numbers. As a member of the product leadership team, I'm also interested in the kind of, I guess you would call it, qualitative underpinnings of that. So any insights from the team on specific areas of the product that we're getting a lot of support requests for, or where our ability to troubleshoot and get an answer to a customer quickly is inhibited, that the product team could help improve?
This is something that in the shortest of terms, we are looking to get better at, to identify specific product areas. We have kind of large buckets now, but we want to get a little bit more specific. So expect in the next coming weeks, we will have a little bit more insight into this data. And to step back, and for everybody in the room, one of the questions that came out of our key review with the executive team was, how do we tie tickets to features? Are we understanding, are new features driving more tickets? How do we understand that? So that question is being asked at the executive level, and we're saying, taking this moment to say, all right, let's see if we can figure that out. So Kenny, expect some more insight in the coming weeks as we dive in on that to understand that.
Cool, thanks.
You're very welcome.
I guess, can I just also ask, any of the managers or team members have just a gut feel, not from the numbers, like, hey, these are some things that I've seen a lot of customers asking inquiry about that was confusing?
Support engineering managers who are present, feel free to chime in if you have anything you'd like to add.
One area that's been challenging, we've had a number of tickets and they're just hard tickets, would be group SAML for SSO on GitLab.com. Those are just, the docs are pretty good. Customers don't always follow the docs, and there's just a lot of stickly places where you can mess up. And so that's something that I don't know if there's places in the product where we could make things better. I wish that Cynthia was on the call. She would definitely have some opinions that would be helpful in this. But anecdotally, I would say that's an area.
Great. One of the things I'll add here as well, Kenny, that we're trying to take a look at is understanding the value of docs for new features, right? We're tying this effort as well into one of our big drives, one of our motivating factors right now is understanding how we better help our documentation team, how we better leverage docs to be more efficient. So as we understand problem areas in the product, we're going to be looking towards improving those docs. That's going to be our improving that cycle. So you should expect to see some more data there as well, kind of closing the whole circle. So great question. Others, group.
I would say one thing in terms of product is specific to self-managed, moving pieces and breaking changes during upgrades, like the upgrade to Postgres version 11. I know there will be a number of breaking changes in 13.0 that will be landing released on this Friday. Things like that, I feel the more communication we have in advance about preparing customers or users to account for these changes that we have, the fewer tickets we will see regarding hey, I upgraded and now this thing broke. So I think with GitLab.com, we kind of have a rolling release where we put features out ahead of the self-managed official package version being released. So I think maybe communicating more about breaking changes or moving pieces for the self-managed customers in particular would be helpful.
Thank you for that, Greg. And I want to give a shout out. I do not recall which product manager it was, but somebody was in the support channel yesterday asking for insight from support specifically around Postgres upgrading. So that whoever that is, shout out, you're on it. And let's do more of that and make sure that we get the support. So thanks for highlighting that, Greg. All right. Not seeing any other questions. I want to open the floor. You can go Kenny style and speak it and then write it. So do feel free.
I'm going to chime in and then I'll type this. I will say a thank you from the product team for support stable counterparts, which kind of leans on what Kenny was talking about before. I was blessed to have one in search, which I think was one of the early ones, and that made the product space look immensely better. And I now got one in my editor group, and that's sort of getting rolling now. And so as a product member, I'm very happy that that's continuing to grow and expand. I think that's some of the best feedback we get is out of the support stable counterparts who are able to give us all the insight into tickets, which we haven't been able to historically get or would spend a lot of time doing. So that's a thanks from me.
Awesome. Thank you, Kai, for echoing that. We're always looking to evolve support stable counterparts to make sure that they're doing whatever we can to support the product. So if you have a support stable counterpart or want one, talk to us and we can figure out how to make that happen. There's documentation in the handbook on what that is and what the role entails. You brought up search, so I want to take a quick second because there isn't another question in the room to talk about something that we're working on in support that we're excited about. We have a few people that are Elasticsearch experts, and troubleshooting Elasticsearch was proving to be a challenge. So in the shortest of terms, we're looking to understand how to make that better. We, at the moment, have made a proof of concept on how that can be better and are looking to engage with the search group on how can we integrate this into the product. This is kind of new territory for the support engineering group to be proposing features so strongly, but we're really excited because it's going to help the customer, and that's amazing. So Kai, expect some more stuff from us in the search related area as we have some debugging tools and technologies that we'd like to get into the product. Thank you for all the note takers in the docs. Really appreciate it. Want to open the floor for some more questions. The room is quiet today.
Hey Lee, my apologies for not adding this in the docs. I don't have a keyboard handy, so everyone, Jason P over in distribution, what can we in distribution do to help support, get better understanding of how to do some troubleshooting and maybe coalesce all of the docs together so that we have one good reference point for both .com and on-prem?
That is a great question, Jason, and I think it is a meta question that we have to lean on docs as well. One of the things that I think we struggle with in support is understanding where the problem actually lies, right? And your question touches on that, where is it related to the distribution, right? Maybe Kubernetes permissions with RBAC is the problem. That has nothing to do with the GitLab code base, but the GitLab experience is affected. So one of those things at the moment, I don't have a good answer on how to unify that. I'm curious, I want to lean on the other support managers in the call if they have any other insights on things they've been working on or ideas or thoughts on Jason's question here around how do we connect all of our docs so that it's a unified experience that helps the customer. It's a hard question, Jason. You got us stumped here. But I think the answer I'll put, if no one else has anything more, is a collaborative effort with documentation, which this quarter we have a joint OKR that is strengthening our relationship. And from there, I want to say, leaning on docs to help us understand the information architecture that they're building. We should be supporting that effort, and I think we are, but I don't think that we could provide insight, but that's working with docs there. So hope that helps, Jason, but I don't think it was as direct answer as I would love to give.
That's perfectly fine. And I honestly, that's what I figured. I just wanted to throw it out there and make sure everybody on your team was also thinking about this. The next question I have is, what pain point do you run into most that we could best add documentation immediately to assist with?
That is a great one that at the moment, I want to ask you to raise that to our channel, because I think support engineers themselves at the moment may have the most up-to-date info. But again, I'll turn this over to support managers in the room. Is there anything related to distribution that you would love attention on? Where they're asking, this is our dream, they're asking. So let's see if we have anything. I will take silence as you're doing amazing, Jason, and keep up the great work.
I would say we just need a little more. Is there a place that we could provide feedback, an issue or something, Jason? Because that would be an async way to address your question.
Of course. Well, we'll definitely get one specifically made up. This is just really a call to think, like, what do you need more of in terms of understanding of how things work, especially when it comes to the Kubernetes work, and how can we make sure that we get our tribal knowledge disseminated to your team?
Cool.
Agreed. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate the support as always. And our Kubernetes expertise across the company is increasing, and I love it. I love to see it. So everyone, thanks for that and keep that up. Kenny, you have the next one if you'd like to vocalize it, and then Lyle, be prepared. I'm calling on you.
All right. Yeah, I guess I am aware that over the last, I don't know the time frame, there's been some adjustments to roles and responsibilities and incident response between support and the infrastructure teams. I'd love to get an overview, and I guess I'm particularly interested in what's different as a result of that OKR issue.
I'm called on. Yeah, so in the past, we had the big idea of how incidents should be run. We had the idea of the incident manager on call. We had the idea of the communications manager on call, but we didn't necessarily have a plan for who would run those particular things. So a result of this OKR is now support is running the communications role. So we jump into incidents on GitLab.com. Taking a look at the severity, we make sure the status page is updated at a regular interval, and we take any learnings that we have back into the support team. So that's something that's now officially globally rolled out. And so we have folks that have been trained on the status page and for how to do that kind of incident communication all around the globe. And I'm very excited about that. We're adding new people so that those rotations get longer. But yeah, does that help clarify?
It does. I have a follow-up. Is there a concise reason for why we decided to split between infra and support with those two roles? I guess, I'm coming at this from the product perspective that we're also trying to build improved incident management capabilities in GitLab. And I'm just wondering what pain points we ran into that necessitated those two separate roles and having the support team fulfill the CMOC role.
Yeah, a support team is already communicating with customers during incidents. And so having direct access to the incident room and being the ones to make the status updates is much more efficient than kind of going through a tree of folks. We can craft our messaging out to customers when they write in much, much more directly and without the filters of people. So that's one thing. The other would just be, I think the SRE team it's a smaller team than support. And so providing somebody who's doing incident management and doing communication management, those are different roles. And I think the SRE team, please speak up and agree with me. It's difficult to do both. You do need two people. And so relying on a larger team who already has sort of a communications role to play made a lot of sense just in terms of pulling out that communication role.
Cool, that's great. Yeah, and I imagine also you touched on this. Not only does that help because the support team has the context, but it also helps provide the support team context of what the more intimacy to what the current incidents are. So cool, thank you.
Kenny, you stole the words out of my mouth. One of the mega benefits for us is that we can be involved in the incident, and then as post-incident, it comes into support's territory, right? A customer noticed that their pipeline was down an hour ago and it was related to that problem. Now we have that intimate knowledge and we're connected, and it's not a handoff or anything that could create friction. It should be effortless to carry through, and that's one of the big pros that I'm really excited about through this, that the CMOC helps us provide.
I can give you actually a specific example of that from last week. So last week, during an incident, we had enabled some Cloudflare protections on a specific endpoint. And we had a large telecom customer write in the very next day saying, hey, our liveness test that we have a bot that like pings this endpoint for liveness, and it stopped working yesterday. In the past, this might have stumped us, but because I'd been involved directly in that CMOC role, like the first reply was like, oh, here's what happened. I know exactly what happened. Here's what you should do. And it took something that would have been like a lot of back and forth between the SRE team and support, diving into logs, trying to figure stuff out. In fact, I don't even know if we have access to the cloud support or the Cloudflare logs. And it took it down into one reply, very efficient, one and done.
Thank you, Lyle, for that. One of the other things that we're really excited about here as well, Kenny, the nature of GitLab as a product, we have self-managed and we have GitLab.com. We're hoping as well our involvement in understanding how .com SREs, how SREs on .com troubleshoot will allow us to take that knowledge into our self-managed troubleshooting for on-call as well. So for that type of scenario, we're getting a lot of beautiful, I'll use the term, I'll do it, synergy and cross-pollination to really drive success, and it's exciting. I think it's amazing that we're seeing success. Thanks, Lyle, for the story. So awesome. I'm not seeing any other questions in the doc. Greg, if you want to vocalize your stance, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, so working with self-hosted GitLab, customer writes in, says, my GitLab is down. We will hop on a call with them and we will help them get it up. If you're talking about GitLab.com and a customer on GitLab.com writes in saying GitLab.com is down, the actual like hands-on support approach from self-managed does not apply. It would really be site reliability engineers and infrastructure team who's responsible for getting it back up. And I think this is where the communication manager on call role comes in, is because we have the site reliability engineers and infra actually working to troubleshoot the problem, but they don't have enough time to work on the rolling out of clear communication to our customers and users. So while support is on the receiving end for GitLab.com is down, it normally requires some level of collaboration with others and then external communication of what's going on. So I think that is one reason this role was somewhat inevitable.
Cool, thanks for that. We can go Kenny style. If you have the question and you want to ask it before you type it in, feel free. Thank you, Candice, for your help with note-taking. I saw Emily Kyle in there note-taking as well. I saw that. If I didn't see you, thank you for your help. But want to open the floor. Kenny, I see you.
Oh, I didn't type that.
Somebody's trolling him.
Yeah.
All right. If we're done here, I'll give you some time back and we'll just enjoy life, stay happy, stay healthy. I'm feeling good. It's like Phil Collins in the air. We're done. All right, team. Thank you all. Pleasure. Kenny, great questions. Jason, great questions. Everyone, thank you. Support team, thanks for engaging. Enjoy your day. And if you want to find us at any time, support managers or support team chat in Slack and ask away. Bye, all.
Thanks, Lee.